played Percy Weasley in 6 of the 8 films, and I am a regular at these events.
So
Really?
you are a regular at these events. Do you want to talk about what about these events really captures you and makes you want to come back every week?
It's just a lot of fun. I think the first one I accidentally went to one. That sounds weird. But was it 7 years ago, Witching Hour? Yeah, 7 years ago.
2005.
Yeah.
October 2005.
So nearly 7 years ago, I got asked by Salem Town Council to be the guest of honour at their Halloween parade, which in Salem is quite a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, and that was awesome. And I said yes, I'd love to go. Me and my girlfriend at the time flew out there, and they picked us up at the airport. Drove us down to Salem, dropped us off at a hotel, and went, oh, by the way, there's a Harry Potter convention on in town, and they're all here. There's about 3,000 of them. Bye! So I had no idea what the hell was going on. And it was really kind of bizarre, because I didn't know anything about that. You know, if you say the word convention in the UK, people just think it's actors signing behind tables, signing their names on photos, basically. So I didn't really know what to expect, and then turned up and there was all these people in costume, and I got arrested by a bunch of Death Eaters, and we stage crashed a Harry and the Potters gig, and it was awesome. And I bumped into a load of people I had spoken to, because I'd done interviews with I'd done podcasts for Leaky Cauldron, and I'd spoken to HPEF about stuff, and you know, met people that I'd spoken to online and done interviews with, and actually met them face to face, and ended up having a really cool time. And
so it was like larger than life, nothing like you were expecting.
It wasn't what I was expecting. I think initially I was really scared of it, because I was like, well, I'm an actor in these films, and I'm staying in this hotel full of Harry Potter fanatics, and I'm not entirely sure that I'm safe. But after about a day, when you know people didn't know that I was coming to Salem, because the two events didn't really coincide at all. It just happened to be over Halloween. So people were sorry, you are Percy, yeah. And I was going, I am, but I'm supposed to be here. And then I found out, and I spoke to Heidi, and I spoke to other people, and they said, well, and they told me what was going on. I was like, actually, this is really cool. And when I started speaking to people, they were great, and they were really nice and really kind of enthusiastic, and we shared a lot of kind of common interest, because obviously I'm a big Harry Potter fan as well. So, so I kind of rocked up to a couple of events and sort of sat in on like film screenings and things, and just had an awesome time.
Yeah.
And then because of filming commitments and stuff, I couldn't do any for a while, and then I came to Alcatraz, which was in San Francisco 3 years ago, and had been to Infinitus the year before that. Then I was at LeakyCon here last year, and I'm here obviously now. So yeah, and that's just because I love it. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you played Percy. So how did you like playing Percy? Did you like playing his character, or?
Do you know what I did? Because Percy is a character, and I'm a character actor. So, like, playing a lead role doesn't really appeal to me, because generally speaking, when you get a lead role in something, there's often not a lot of meat, or not a lot of meat on the bones of the character of a romantic, because they're usually the romantic lead, and you know, for want of a better word, Harry Potter is a romantic lead, because you know, he's the one that the girls will fall in love with. Percy isn't, but Percy's not a baddie either, and somewhere in the middle there, baddies are great characters to play, but sort of the characters like the nerdy best friend kind of thing, they're always really cool to play, because there's
a lot of like space to do things.
Yeah, there's a lot of scope for kind of playing with them, because they don't have to be serious all the time. You can be the light relief, and you know, you're there to become a caricature of whatever it is that, you know, Percy's there to sort of be pompous and arrogant and go, I'm head boy, and rah rah rah, and follow me, I know what I'm doing, I'm very intelligent, you know, in the same sense that Ron's there to kind of be the bloke that comes out with the wisecracks and brings everybody back down to earth again. So it's always a lot more fun playing characters like that. So I loved it, yeah.
So when did you you're obviously a big fan of the series, so when did you get into the series, and how?
I got it. My mum's an English teacher, and she came about maybe 2 years before, so 98, I think. She came home she finished school for the summer holidays and brought a load of books back from the library with stuff she needed to read for next term and stuff, but she bought some stuff for me to take on holiday. And said, "Oh, you should read that. Everyone's talking about this book. It's Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is the first one I read." So you know, you should read it. Everyone's talking about it. I was like, "Oh yeah, okay." And I enjoy reading, but I'm not a quick reader. I read at the same speed I talk, which means it takes me a very long time to read a book. I think it's an actor thing. I kind of think out loud. So yeah, she brought Chamber of Secrets home. I read it in like a day and a half. It's still my favourite book.
Still pretty quick.
Yeah, but I mean, I was on holiday, so I just sat in the sun and read. And then I went and read the first one and the second one again, and the third one, and that was all that was out at the time. And then a couple of years later, like Easter 2000, they announced that they were making the films and they wanted to open audition for people to be in them, and I was like, well, they're awesome, so why wouldn't I? Yeah, why not? What have I got to lose? Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
So that's your experience with films. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you also have experience with theatre, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I kind of came... Theatre is what I love more than anything, really, apart from my fiancée. That's where I started when I was 11 and I went to high school. I was a really, really painfully shy child. Like, I didn't talk to anybody. Thought to talk to people I didn't know scared me, and I hated it. But my mum, obviously working at the school I went to, one of her friends was our drama teacher, and she kind of volunteered me to be in the chorus for Bugsy Malone, which was their musical that year. And I ended up in that, and I loved it. I had a couple of little sort of cameo role things to do as well as being in the chorus. And I was like, this is awesome, because I can do whatever the hell I like, because it's not really me. You know, I'm on stage, and when you're on stage, it's weird because you become somebody else, and even that sounds like a ridiculous thing to say because that's proper kind of lovely actor speak, but you kind of, and even when I'm Chris Rankin, like in the talk I've just done, that's not me, that's Chris Rankin.
Right.
You know, that's Chris Rankin who plays Percy Weasley. Chris Rankin who sits and watches telly at home is somebody else entirely again. So it's, I guess I am still kind of really shy underneath it all. This is kind of a bit of a performance based on reality. That's how I fell in love with performing and musical theatre. And then obviously got the films, and that sort of took over my life a little bit for a while. And then I kind of went, well, now I've got this, I can do more stage stuff. I can do this. So I did, and I did a couple of musical. We have this thing in Britain called pantomime. You can explain it later because it's weird and you don't have it over here.
I know what pantomime is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a very British thing, anyway.
I'm in theatre, so I.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I did a pantomime, and then went back and carried on filming, and then a friend of mine and I decided to start a theatre company together, because at that point, I was, I think, 18, 19. I'd made money off Harry Potter, but I was living at home because I was 18, 19, and, I didn't have anything to do with it, really. I bought myself a car and, been on a couple of nice holidays, and I thought, well, I want to put on a show. I want to do things for me. Yeah. I want to do things that I want to do, because that way I can do them how I want them to be. So we formed this theatre company, and I put some money in, and we put on a production of Hedda Gabler, and we brought in professional actors from London and also local actors, and we put on this production, and it was really, really good, and it sold out, and we did it for a year here, there, and everywhere across the country, and then we did another one. We did Oscar Wilde's Salome, or Salome as you call it over here, and that was quite controversial because there's nudity involved, and not for me, but there was nudity involved in it, and it got the headlines, you can't do nudity, and one of the local church groups near the theatre got upset because it's, Salome's it's a religious story, it's about Herod, and it is biblical, and they didn't like the way we were doing it, so they complained and protested outside the theatre. So we sold out for forever. It was awesome. And I loved it. I haven't done much since then producing-wise, because I just haven't had the time or the facility. But theatre is absolute love.
So that's what you would like to continue?
Yeah.
Your career
Yeah, if I could happily, I would stop doing film now and just do musical theatre for the rest of my life.
So you sing as well?
Yeah, I sing. I'm doing Once by Wizards at HPEF just after this. so yeah, I sing. That's kind of my second love, I guess. But if I can sing and act and be on stage, I'm happy.
Musical theatre.
Yay!
And so we're at Ascendio, and you just did a panel on your dissertation.
Yeah, I
did.
did.
A little bit about that.
Well, I've just I seem to have done an awful lot, but I did I went to university after we finished filming the 5th film, because I thought, well, the way the script was starting to go, I hadn't done the 4th film, and Percy's quite big in the 4th film because in the 4th book rather, because he's supposed to be one of the judges at the Triwizard tournament, and that hadn't happened, and I thought, oh, okay, well, okay, I don't really know where this is going anymore. And then they asked me to come back and do the 5th one, and kind of Percy was there, but he was sidelined, and that was fine because he didn't have anything to do with the story. But I kind of thought, well, okay, that's fine. They're kind of phasing Percy out. That's great. I've had a nice run at this, but it looks like my time's up. They didn't ask me to come back for the 6th one, and I thought, right, well, I need to find something else to do with my life. Maybe Harry Potter looks like work-wise it's over. What do I want to do? Well, acting's cool, but having done these films for so long, I've actually found out that I have a real interest in filmmaking and how films are made, and I'd quite like to know about that. So I went to a place called University of Lincoln in the UK and did a degree in media production. And as part of our undergrad in the UK, you have to write a 10,000 word dissertation. We call it a dissertation. I don't know what you guys call it, a thesis or anyway. So yeah, but it was an undergrad thing. And because I'm not very good at being I'm not academic, practical. The course was majority practical stuff, so I thought, well, that's good. And then they kind of went, oh yeah, and you have to write 10,000 words on something and do it properly with Harvard referencing and everything. So, oh my god, I don't know what to do. I thought, well, what do I know about? Oh, I know about Harry Potter fans. Well, I'll write about that. So I thought, well, what can I write about? And then sort of started to think about it, and I was like, well, what will happen to Harry Potter fans when there's no more? Because at this point, this was in my 3rd year, and actually by then I had gone back and filmed Deathly Hallows 7 Part 1 and 2. And I thought, well, that film's going to be coming out at the end of this year, and then that's it. She's written all the books, and then all the films are out. So what are these people going to do? What's going to happen to this fan community that exists? Because there's not going to be anything else for them to get excited about. In that kind of, in the producing sense, there's no new books, there's no new films.
Right.
So that's what I did. I wrote a 10,000 word essay on what's going to happen to the Harry Potter fans when the saga finishes.
What do you think will happen?
Oh, well, they're still here. This is a year and a half later now, so I kind of answered my own question. But it was really cool doing the panel, actually. I've never done anything like that before.
Do you think in the future, after this convention, everything will continue to go strong for a while?
I think, yeah, I mean, this is the last HPEF. They've announced that this is the last HPEF. I've said to the people who organise it that it won't be. Just
so.
No, it won't be. I don't care what they say. Maybe it will be under how it's run these days, but I think give it a few years and something else will come along from HPEF, because everyone loves them because of the fact that it's so kind of ensconced in education and literacy and everything else. It's kind of the fact that it's Harry Potter based is sort of almost secondary.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
So many academic panels.
Yeah,
really go
yeah. And I'm really glad that this year I managed to kind of get involved in that a little bit more. Because when you're here as a personality, celebrity, whatever, it's hard to, because there's so much else you're supposed to be doing and everywhere else you're supposed to be. It's hard to actually sort of enjoy it for what you enjoy, I guess. And I think I managed to do that this year. So that's good.
So, is there any last thing that you want to say to Harry Potter fans?
Thank you for staying with us. It's awesome. I'm a massive Harry Potter fan, and I will continue to be so. Please continue to be massive Harry Potter fans, and to keep supporting everything that Harry Potter and Harry Potter fans do, because they're all awesome, and that's how we'll survive.
Right, thank you so much.
That's a pleasure. Thank you, guys.